so let's jump right in. I'm going to talk a little bit today about why you should use Docker. The short answer is because you want to deploy all the awesome things, and like the best way to do that is to use Docker, and we're going to talk a little bit about why. So first of all, Docker is a package manager on steroids. Like Docker, it's a computer. It's your computer. I know there's kind of a lot of technical aspects to that, and some people will really disagree with me on that. But basically, like, just keep it simple. It's your computer in a format that you can download, that you can share with anybody else. You can download it, you can upload it, you can put it wherever you want. And anything that you can install on your computer, you can install in Docker. If you like to work in Python, that's great. R, even dev tools, Perl, Ruby, databases like MySQL or MongoDB. You can get into the computational libraries like Dask or Apache Airflow, Spark. Anything that you want, like if you can install it through a command line, you can install it in Docker. And it's supported, I think it's supported everywhere now. I put nearly because, you know, wanna check that a bit. But it's supported on the cloud, it's supported in Amazon, on Google, it's supported for Mac, Linux, Windows. Like I actually made the switch over from Linux to Mac because the support for Docker is so good, and everything that I do is in Docker anyways. So it allows me to develop from anywhere, you know, but then I still have that single image that sits there, and that image is the same image that goes anywhere. It doesn't matter if I'm developing from Mac, from Linux, from Windows, from anywhere. That container that's created, that I create when I'm developing and deploying my application, is the same everywhere. And one really important fact is that containers can talk to other containers. And that is really, really cool, because then you can have your separation of concerns. A really common model is that you have server-side code that sits in one container, client-side code that sits in another. You could have a data access layer in one container, and you know, your computation like a Dask or a Spark, either a single instance or an actual cluster sitting in another set of containers. And again, it's supported everywhere, and like I can't stress that enough. It's everywhere. If you want to work on remote servers, you know, you can very easily deploy things with Docker on that. You can very easily deploy on the cloud with Docker. You can work on your own laptop. Like, you can work anywhere and then very easily deploy. It's very, very reproducible. So you can package up your application, send it off to anyone, anywhere, the other side of the world, wherever. All that they need to do is they need to have Docker installed. And you get rid of this, like, well, it works on my computer. If it works, you know, if it works in the container, it works anywhere, and that's great. So that also allows you to do dev stacks that mirror production deployments. So this is really, really cool. Like, some of the more complex frameworks out there, they try to set you up with like an easy kind of, oh, we'll let you bootstrap the setup really, you know, quickly and easily without having to have the production set up. So Apache Airflow is a really good example of this. When you first download it, you can actually get up and running with a really simple setup just using SQLite. And, you know, and that's fine for just trying it out. But when you actually really want to start developing, you want a dev stack that closely mirrors your production environment as closely as possible. If you're using Postgres and RabbitMQ in your production environment, you want that in your Docker dev stack, and you can have that. You know, you don't need to mock out your databases with all kinds of crazy things. Like, I know a lot of people who are really into testing, they do like all this stuff to mock out their databases. You don't have to do that. You could just have a Docker dev database that has actual data, that's using the same versions that you use, the same everything. So again, you can use the exact databases, message queues, application parameters, everything can like very closely mirror development as it is in production. And that's it for the major reasons that you would want to use Docker. It's really great. I really recommend that you try it. It's like my favorite of the virtualization technologies. You know, I used Vagrant, I used to use SaltStack a lot, which is a little bit different, but you know, it's all these ways to set up all these different applications and deploy things. And without a doubt, my favorite so far has been Docker. I think, of course, you know, it's tech and these things change constantly, but I do actually think that Docker is here to stay. It's going to be here for a while. It's a really, really valuable skill set to develop because when you can put your applications into a Docker container, like, there's no limit. You can do things that I'm a really big fan of. Like you can get your application out there as a demo and actually get it in front of people, and and the people can see it and they can comment on it and they can do all these things that you can't do if everything is always sitting on your own computer. So, so that's it for this introduction. I hope this was valuable. I hope you're convinced that deploying things is awesome and that you should use Docker to deploy them. Thanks.